All join now.
All right. So first of all, thank you everyone for joining this and taking interest in learning Prisma Access, which is the Palo Alto Network's SASE solution. So let me introduce myself first. So I have around 12 years of experience in network and security domain. And if I talk about uh, my major experience is in Palo Alto. So in Palo Alto, I have worked on firewalls as a tech engineer. Then I worked as a consultant as well, where I design networks for Palo Alto. And also, I have worked on Prisma Access SASE solution, and I have deployed this solution in many enterprise network from small to big. Also, I have worked on Zscaler as well. I have the expertise of Zscaler SASE solution as well. It's always good to have the knowledge of our competitors. So as you know that if I talk about SASE, there are multiple vendors in the market. So if I talk about some of the top vendors, we have Palo Alto, Prisma Access, we have Zscaler, we have Cato Networks, we have Netscope. All right. So before I begin, I would like to know who my audience is and from which background they come from. So we can have a round of introduction before I introduce you to the Prisma Access solution and what we are going to cover in this particular engagement. So Saurabh, we can start with you if you would like to start.
Hello. Hello, Naresh sir. Hello. Hello,
Hi, Saurabh.
everyone.
Yep.
Hi. So basically, my name is Saurabh Datta, and
Mm-hmm.
actually, currently, I'm working with the Wipro technology in Pune
Okay.
location. So
Okay.
basically, I have an hands-on experience on the Cisco Meraki SD-WAN and
Okay.
also the legacy devices like router, switch, and
Mm-hmm.
also the firewalls. In firewall, only the Palo Alto I have only, and also
Okay.
so basically that's why, and also the new project is coming into our that organization. So that's why
Mm-hmm.
I am looking for an course like Prisma.
Okay.
So that's why I'm joined.
Great, great. Great to have you here, Saurabh. Thank you for
Thank
joining.
thank you.
Uh, who we have next? Naveen, you would you like to go next and introduce yourself?
Yeah, yeah, Naresh. So myself, Naveen. So I have close to 15 years of experience. I'm working with Kindle.
Okay.
So I'm into routing and switching background. So, but
Mm-hmm.
I have moved to a management role. So it's almost close to 8 years I'm into management role. But I would like to switch to technical back again. And
Mm-hmm.
even my organization and I've seen most of the enterprises is moving towards SASE solutions after pandemic, as you said,
That's true. Yeah.
yeah, like Prisma Access, Zscaler, Cato, Netscope, and also I've
Right.
seen they're moving to Cloudflare as well.
Right. That's true.
So yeah, so that's why I just wanted to know. Like I do not know, but
Mm-hmm.
what I understand is based on this SASE thing, like most of them will be on the cloud, and there would be a huge cost savings, is what I can understand.
That's
And it
true.
should be one bundle, like you no need to have separate appliances
Subscription and
and
license. That's
yeah.
true.
So like how the next generation firewall come with all the UTM features, like
Mm-hmm.
so here you would be a single vendor, right? Like you will be having a SD-WAN on Palo Alto, and you have a SASE solution, so that
That's
covers
true.
your entire enterprise over there. So that's what SASE gives. Now even almost all the vendors are coming up with similar solutions like Fortinet, Cisco also coming up with Whiptail and all those things. So yeah,
Right.
so just wanted to see how it goes. Yeah,
Yeah. Nice to have you here, Naveen.
yeah.
Thank
Yeah.
you for that. And Zubair, you can go next and introduce yourself.
Hello. Uh, I'm a network engineer.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, I just have CCNP and few years of experience. Right now, I'm enrolled into Mr. Rohit's PaloAlto class.
Okay,
So
great.
in the security side, I'm just a beginner.
Got it. All right. Not a problem. You are in the right place. And you are also learning Palo Alto Firewall. That will give you an edge in learning Prisma Access SE.
Yeah, sure.
All right. Anyone left here? Peter?
Hi, I'm more into the IT management profile.
Okay,
So I'm just trying to get my hands on some experience with Palo Alto because we have a Palo Alto firewall. So I wanted to
okay.
get some hands on and understand how it works. That's the reason I'm here.
Great, great. Nice to have you here, Peter. All right, I think we have covered all, and now we'll start this. So let me share my screen. And let me know once you see my screen. I hope my
Yeah,
slide deck
it's
is
visible now.
visible. Great. All right. All right. So Prisma, it is a Palo Alto Network SSE solution. Okay. I'm not mentioning it as a SASE because Prisma SD-WAN is different and Prisma Access is different. It is Secure Service Edge. Okay. All right. If I talk about the certification, if we want to go for the certification of Prisma Access, as of now, there is no certification specific to Prisma Access. It is going to be there next year, early next year from Palo Alto Networks, and we can enroll ourselves and subscribe for the certification and take the exam. As of now, there is no certification specific to Prisma Access from Palo Alto. So this course is relevant to anyone who has experience in networking, who has the basic understanding of security concepts, IPsec, VPN, SSL, little bit of routing background.
Excuse me.
Yep,
I have seen
please go
on
ahead.
Palo Alto's website, there is a certification called PCCSE, Prisma Certified Cloud Security Engineer.
Yeah, so that
Is it
certification is related to Prisma Cloud. Prisma Cloud
okay?
is a different technology and Prisma Access is a different one. Both are
Okay.
cloud hosted, but there is a difference.
Mhm.
Okay,
Okay.
thank you. All right, we'll move next. So, what all we are going to cover in this particular training? So, I'll be discussing the Prisma Access infrastructure, how in the backend it looks like, what are the components, because when we talk about Prisma, everything is hosted in Palo Alto environment. It is for us, it is over the cloud, right? But for Palo Alto, they have their infrastructure hosted on AWS, on GCP platform, on the cloud platforms. Okay. And the infrastructure, the company doesn't need to worry about the infrastructure, how they are going to manage the instances on the cloud. Everything is managed by Palo Alto. The customer, the company only need to purchase a license as per their requirement, and we are good to go. We just need to perform the configuration to route our traffic to the Palo Alto cloud infrastructure, and there the traffic will be inspected and it will go where it is destined to. So we'll discuss in detail what is Prisma Access and how the infrastructure look like. The next is the planning and the design. So before we jump into the configuration and start diving into the Prisma Access components, First, we'll decide what actually is the need, what actually we want to configure. So that is the major component. Planning. We have to plan properly to avoid unnecessary changes when we move to the production. That is always not advisable. When we are into the production, we shouldn't make any major changes. So design and planning is really important. Next is the routing. The routing, how the routing looks like in Prisma Access. Just to give you an overview, we don't need in-depth knowledge of routing when we talk about Prisma Access. It's very easy and it's very simple from the Prisma Access point of view. Inside the Prisma Access infrastructure, the cloud, I'll talk that in a bit in detail, how the cloud looks like. We have iBGP there. We use iBGP to exchange route within the Prisma Access infrastructure. I'll not go into deep for Prisma Access routing as of now, but once we start the training, I'll discuss in more detail. Activation and the configuration part. So whenever we purchase a license, we need to activate it, and then we start the configuration process. I'll talk about the security processing nodes. These are the terminology which Prisma Access uses, security processing nodes. By the name, it is like we are processing the traffic and we are inspecting the traffic. We are applying security policies on the traffic. So on certain components of Prisma Access, security processing happens. All right. Service connection, remote networks, these are the components of Prisma Access. So what is the use of service connection? What is the use of remote networks, mobile users? I'll discuss this in detail in few minutes, but we are going to cover all of this. So these topics are part of Prisma Access EDU 318. So EDU 318 is an official course guide of Prisma Access. So we are going to cover all. And also we are going to cover some of the advanced topics as well, which I have the knowledge and expertise on, which are not included in EDU 318 course as well. We'll discuss how to troubleshoot, what are the mechanisms and the tools available when we purchase Prisma Access to troubleshoot any issues. We'll discuss that. Cortex data lake, it is also one of the component. What is the use of Cortex data lake? Just to give you an overview, it is the log repository. So all the traffic logs which are generated on the cloud, so the logs are stored in the Cortex data lake. It is a component on the Prisma Access. And we can select the region as well, where exactly we want to store our logs. We have few options to select the region, because in some scenarios, the company as well as the customer has the requirement, I want my logs to be stored in this particular region. So we have that flexibility with Palo Alto Networks Prisma Access solution. We have the Cloud Identity Engine. What is Cloud Identity Engine? It is basically used to fetch user as well as the group information. For example, we want to make user or the group-based policy. We want to restrict a particular user to access, for example, I want a particular user to that he shouldn't be accessing social media websites. So I can fetch the user and group information with the help of CIA, and then I can create the policy, and then I can restrict the user in accessing any social media applications. So basically, Cloud Identity Engine is integrated with the directories. It could be the local AD, it could be the cloud directories as well. When I say the cloud directory, we can integrate it with the Google IDP. We can integrate it with the Okta. We can integrate with the Azure, and we have few other options as well. I have mentioned only the popular IDPs here. Then we have another tool, Insights. What is Insights? So it gives the option of a graphical interface, like what all is happening in our environment. It is a page where everything is graphical. What all applications are accessed in the customer environment. What all high risk applications are there which the customer are accessing. Also, we can check the logs as well on this page. We see the logs here, and many more options are there. It is like day by day, Palo Alto is adding multiple features here, I would say. ADEM. So ADEM is a tool which is used to monitor the endpoint user machine, how the user machine is behaving in the network. For example, I'll give an example to explain this. So a user complains that he is facing issues in accessing internet, okay, when he's working from his home network. So admin receives that incident or email from the user. So we have the ADEM screen where we have all the data of that user. And what all data we have through ADEM tool? It is an agent, okay, which is installed on the endpoint machine. So this agent will pull all the information. For example, what is the latency when the user is accessing a particular application? Okay. What is the battery percentage? What is the Wi-Fi signal strength of the user when he is accessing internet? What is the page fetch time? What is the DNS resolution time when the user is accessing that particular destination? So everything is graphical on this particular tool. So we can have the information of that particular user. We can have the information on the basis of region as well. So for example, US region users are complaining of something. So we can select the region on on this page, on the ADEM page, and see what is happening actually in this particular region. Is it something in the corporate network? Is it something on the Prisma access level? Or is it something beyond Prisma access level when they are accessing that particular destination server? Very helpful tool in troubleshooting. Okay. It comes with the additional license, ADEM. Backend Insight, you will not find this information, which we are going to cover with this particular training. Backend Insight, when I say, for example, how the Palo Alto manages their infrastructure. What happens when the load increases on a particular firewall on the cloud? What Palo Alto does in that case? How the upgrade happens in the backend? How the routing happens in the backend? So all those things we'll cover in this particular backend insight. Also, we'll discuss some of the design use cases which we usually see in the corporate environment when we go and configure Prisma Access. So we'll discuss the design use case which are mostly seen. I'll share my experience, what I have seen, what customers generally ask for, and what are the different use cases. So we are going to cover that as well. Any questions? All right. Thank you, Naveen. So let's proceed. Okay. So this diagram will give you an idea what we just discussed in the topics. So we have the data center on the left side, private cloud. Okay. So for example, the company has certain resources, servers hosted in this particular data center. how we can integrate it with Prisma Access. So to integrate this with the Prisma Access, which component we are going to use? We are going to use service connection. So data center is always connected with Prisma Access through service connection. We cannot use remote network component here. And how it is integrated? It is basically an IPsec tunnel which we configure to link data center resources with Prisma Access. Okay. At the bottom, we have the branch offices. So to link branch office with Prisma Access, we use remote network component. At the end, it is also an IPsec tunnel. We use IPsec tunnel to integrate branch office with Prisma Access. Cortex data lake, as I explained earlier, it is a log repository. So the traffic which is coming from branch office, whatever the traffic gets generated, the logs are going to be stored in the Cortex data lake component. And also, if there is a requirement that, okay, I want the log to be there in my environment, so we can forward the logs from Cortex data lake to our on-prem SIEM solution as well. We have that option with Prisma Access. Then we have the mobile endpoints. When I say the mobile endpoints, I'm talking here the users who work remotely. The user who works from their home network, the user who works from hotel or anywhere outside the branch office. Okay. So how they are integrated? They are integrated with the help of Global Protect. Whoever is familiar with Global Protect agent, we use the same thing here as well in Prisma Access. The agent is installed on the endpoint machine. The user connects to the agent. The traffic comes to the Prisma Access where it is inspected, and the traffic then goes to either the private cloud where we have the resources, or if the user is accessing something over the internet, the traffic will go there. Any questions?
Uh, Hello, Naresh.
Yep, please go
Uh,
ahead.
like, I have a doubt. Like the IPsec tunnel should be formed between in between the endpoint devices or with the Prisma access as well,
The
with the
IPsec
branch.
tunnel is we need
Yes.
an IPsec capable device on the endpoint. When I say the endpoint, for example, we are building an IPsec tunnel from the branch office to Prisma Access. We need something which is IPsec capable on the branch office. And on the Prisma Access side, we will select a location. It is going to be a virtual instance for the customer. The IPs we are going to provide, because to build an IPsec tunnel, we need the IPs as well, right? It is going to terminate on the Prisma Access virtual node.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
All
Fine.
right. Any other question?
So Prisma Access is different and Prisma SD-WAN is different.
That's right. It is different.
Okay, okay,
Yeah. Both comes with the different functionality and different purpose.
okay, okay. So Prisma Access will form the IPsec tunnels towards the edge devices, irrespective
That's right.
of whether it's a branch or remote sites or anything as such.
That's true. Yes.
So to manage this Prisma SD-WAN as well as the SSA solutions, so do we have a common controller or a dashboard where we can manage? Because
Mm-hmm.
um, in Cisco, Viptail and all, if you see, I mean,
Mm-hmm.
we have all the WAN edges we manage it via vManage, right? So similarly, do we have any
We
um,
do have. We do have.
in Palo Alto? Okay.
Yes, we do have. We have the cloud portal, which is apps.paloaltonetworks.com. So
Mm.
for example, you have purchased SD-WAN license, Prisma Access license, and DLP license as well for Palo Alto. So every component you will see there. So if you have the license for that particular component, you can click there, log in, and start configuring a single tool, as you mentioned,
Okay. Then what is
Cloud
this
Portal.
Strata Cloud Manager?
Strata Cloud Manager is the same thing. So
Okay.
it's a component on that particular page, which we click on, and then we start configuring the Prisma access.
Okay.
Yes. So what is happening is like Palo Alto is moving towards this cloud portal. So as you know that if you are familiar with Palo Alto, so we have Panorama in the picture, right, which is used to manage the firewalls. It's a management console, management tool offered by Palo Alto, which is
Right.
used to manage multiple firewalls if you have. But now what is happening is Palo Alto is like taking all their security devices and offerings, and they are putting everything on one particular portal. So now you can manage your firewalls as well through Strata Cloud Manager, through the online portal, the cloud portal. You don't
Okay.
need any physical appliance, you don't need Panorama to manage Prisma Access. So to manage Prisma Access, to configure, we have two tools as of now. One is the cloud portal, which I talked about, and second, we can manage it through Panorama as well. We can
Okay. So
manage it through
using
Panorama as well.
Strata Cloud Manager, we can access the Ion devices of Palo Alto,
We
which is nothing but the routers, and also we can access the Palo Alto firewalls as well.
true. We can
Correct.
manage firewalls as well. Yes,
Okay. SD-WAN plus SSE, both.
both. That's true.
Okay.
PLP as well, and the secure web gateway as well. All everything we can manage.
Okay.
So, just as we talked on this topic, so for example, if company is already using Palo Alto networks, they are using the firewalls, they have the Panorama, right? And they are familiar with the Panorama. They are familiar with the device group and template. So they will be inclined towards managing Prisma access through Panorama because they are already familiar with it. But if a customer is totally new for Palo Alto, and so that there's no point of purchasing Panorama to manage Prisma access. They can simply opt for the cloud portal and manage Prisma access. They don't need to purchase Panorama, and it doesn't comes with any cost. When I talk about the cloud portal, there is no cost, but for Panorama, it comes with a cost. All right. Okay, so moving next, the SASE market forecast, how it looks like if I talk about the next 4 to 5 years. So as you can see in the graph, it is expected that 99% of the companies will move towards SASE by 2028. It is expected to be worth USD 6 billion by 2028. And North America region, Europe region, Asia Pacific, rest of the world, it is going like a fire. And why it is happening? Because it saves on the labor cost. You don't need to set up your data center. You save the electricity cost. You don't need to spend on the electricity as the infrastructure is maintained by the vendor. You don't need to worry about setting up data center at each and every region. So you purchase the license. As per the license, you get the locations. It's very easy to manage. You don't need an IT team to monitor. So everything is getting monitored by the Palo Alto team. You don't need to worry about the upgrades of the instance. It is upgraded automatically by the Palo Alto team. The customer and the company doesn't need to worry about that. Any question? All right, let's move ahead. So this is taken from the Gartner this year page where it listed Palo Alto Prisma Access as the leader for from the last 4 to 5 years. When what I have seen is Palo Alto is the leader in the SASE industry. Few of the competitors which we have the Cato Networks, we have the Netscope. Zscaler was also there last year, but now I don't see Zscaler here. We have the challengers, Fortinet, Versa Networks, and Cisco is also moving towards SASE, Cloudflare, as we discussed earlier. Forcepoint, HPE, these are all the SASE vendors which we have in the market. So, but the Palo Alto is leading in the front. And why it is leading? Because they have the firewalls in the market for a very long time. So in terms of security, Palo Alto has been the leader since last 15 to 20 years, I would say. So using that security features and the traffic inspection, how it happens on Palo Alto, the SASE models also offers the same offerings. That's why as soon as it got introduced in the market, it got widely adopted by many big organizations. Moving forward. So, so we are going to follow the EDU 318 course of Prisma Access. And we are going to learn the design. What is the design when we talk about Prisma Access? How we implement, how we operate, also how we troubleshoot if there is any issue. Okay, so I would like to share more information. Let me stop share and I'll share my screen again. Just a minute. All right, I hope my screen is visible.
Yeah, yes.
All right, thank you. Okay, so I want to give you an idea of the infrastructure, how it looks like. What is Prisma Access, right? We discussed many components. We discussed security processing nodes. We discussed the remote networks. We discussed the service connection. But how all of these components are interlinked when we talk about Prisma Access. Okay, so this is the diagram which I have prepared to explain this. So first, we'll discuss the security processing node. Okay. So this is the remote network node and security inspection happens on this particular node. So we have the option to configure security policies here on the SPN. And this component, as I explained earlier, is used to connect to the branch office, remote network node. Okay. So this branch office, for example, we have a firewall here. We will build an IPsec tunnel from this firewall towards the nearest node on the Prisma access. Okay. For example, I have my branch office in Mumbai region. Okay. So I'll select a region on the Prisma access, which is close to my location. So let me show you what all locations I have as I'm talking about the locations. Prisma Access has 100 plus locations. Okay, just to give you an idea. See, these are all the locations.
So when you mean access locations means, are you saying about the point of presence or how it is?
Point of presence.
Okay.
Sure. What location I'll select for my Mumbai office? I have India West. And let's say Japan. What I have in Japan? I have Japan South. So when I'll be building a tunnel on the Prisma Access site, I will be selecting Japan South if I want to build a tunnel from the Japan. Okay. Because this is the nearest one for me and the traffic will face less latency. So how the traffic flow looks like. The branch user is sitting behind the branch office, inside the branch office, I would say. The traffic comes here, the traffic is routed to the tunnel, it reaches on the Prisma Access security processing nodes. We will configure the security policies as per the best practice. Traffic is inspected. If it is allowed, it will go, whether it is whether it will go to internet
It is upgraded
or
automatically by
the
the Palo Alto,
data
the
center.
customer and the company doesn't need to worry about that.
Any questions?
Any question? All right, let's move ahead. So this is taken from the Gartner this year page where it listed.
Uh,
There was some echo, I believe.
yeah. All right. Let's begin. Any question on the remote network? Uh, So as of now, you can think that we are discussing it on a very high level. We are going into the depth of the topic. When we start the training, we are going to configure it, how the configuration looks like. But as of now, I'm just giving you an overview of the architecture and the major components of the Prisma Access. So if I want to secure my branch office traffic, I will use remote networks. I will build an IPsec tunnel. That's it. Just remember the last two statements which I made. Okay. The next component is the corporate access node. Okay. What is corporate access node? It is basically a service connection node. Okay. Earlier we talked about remote network node, which is also known as security processing node. Now we are discussing the service connection node, which is known as corporate access node. This is the other name. Why it is not known as the security processing node? Because we do not have the option to configure security policies on the service connection node. What is the purpose of service connection node? It is used to connect to the data center. We cannot connect remote networks or the branch office with the corporate access node. Why we cannot? There is no security inspection. The traffic of the data center cannot go to internet from this particular node. Basically, this node is used for inbound access. A branch user want to access something in the data center. The traffic will come to the security processing node. From here, it will search for the corporate access node. The traffic will come here. And from here, it will then come to the data center. It is used for the inbound access. It is not meant for internet.
So is it working as a bridge?
It is. It is
Okay.
working as a bridge.
Okay.
If a company doesn't have anything hosted on the data center, everything is internet. For example, this will go out of picture. This is one of the use case. Okay. The corporate access node service connection, we do not need. Everything is over the internet. how we connect the data center. Yes, Naveen, please go ahead.
Yeah,
You
so
have
I just
this.
have one question. Yeah, see now,
Mm-hmm.
normally if you see any enterprises, so they
Mm-hmm.
will have, I think most of them, in case if they are using an SD-WAN or irrespective of non SD-WAN, so they will,
Mm-hmm.
all the branch officers would be connecting to some data center because we cannot keep the entire security infrastructure to every single office. Okay, so they
Right.
would be connecting all their branch offices to a hub site where
Mm-hmm.
you, I mean, kind of data center where you have your entire security infrastructure, like you would be having set of firewalls, servers,
That's
everything,
true.
like load
That's true.
balancers, everything. And from there, you will be having an exit to the internet gateways, be it a cloud or be it an internet gateways. So all your branch office remote locations traffic will pass through data center, and it will get scanned, reviewed, and everything happens, and later it will send it to the rest of the world. So
That's
this
true.
is the standard practice which we are following across thing. So now, what is this Prisma is going to make a difference here?
So as of now, you have the data center at one location, right? So imagine if India, you have your data center in India region, okay?
Okay,
India user will access something. His traffic will come to the India data center. It will get inspected and it will go to the internet. Imagine for the US user,
mm-hmm.
what will happen? The traffic will come first to the India data center to be inspected. And when it will be inspected, then after that, it will go to the destination. So it will add a latency, right? To mitigate this, you can build another data center in that particular region, but it will add up to the cost.
I think, but for internet things, it's an in-country laws policy that internet breakouts has to be happen in local countries, right? For example, if you take India as an example, as per DOT guidelines, our internet gateways should not be outside the country; it should be within the country. So in that
Mhm.
case, how that latency matters specifically for internet?
For internet, it will not, but for example, for anything which is hosted inside the network, for the company network,
Hmm.
in that scenario, it will. For private applications here, I'm talking about. So what is happening here is backhauling of traffic. The traffic is getting backhauled. It is coming there and then it is going to the destination. So if
Okay.
our servers are hosted in India region, then it will come there. So there will be a latency if we compare the India user with the US user.
Okay. Okay.
All right. Yeah, these are all the design considerations and the use case. We'll discuss this in detail, like what we should, why we should go for the Prisma access, what is the need. We'll discuss everything. So corporate access node, it connects to the data center and wherever we have our services hosted. The third component, the major component, is the mobile user. It is the remote workforce, remote user who is working outside the company network. How the mobile user traffic gets to the Prisma access with the help of Global Protect agent. The agent is installed on the endpoint machine. The traffic gets forwarded to the nearest mobile user location on the Prisma access. How the location is selected? Automatically, the agent picks the nearest location. And what all parameter it uses? It uses round trip time and the basically multiple parameters are there. There is one big formula as well. And the lowest weight of a location is seen. For example, five, six locations are there. It will calculate the weight on the basis of round trip time and various other parameters. Whichever has the lowest, it connects to that particular gateway. The traffic goes to that gateway, it gets inspected, and from there it will either go to the internet if it is for internet, or it will come to the data center. How it will come to the data center? As we discussed last time, corporate access node act as a bridge. So from traffic will come to the gateway. From gateway, it will come to the corporate access node, and from there, it will go to the data center. This is how the traffic looks like. One more thing regarding the infrastructure. Mobile user gateway always connects to the nearest corporate access node. So this mobile user gateway is linked to CAN2, corporate access node 2. Okay. But suppose this mobile user 1 want to access something which is in this SC1 in this particular data center. So how the traffic flow looks like? Mobile user traffic will come to the gateway. Mobile user always connects to the nearest node. It will come to the CAN2. With the help of IBGP, the routes are shared. So whatever the routes are advertised from this data center to this node, it will be advertised here as well. The traffic will come to the CAN. Then from here, it will come here. So it is like this. To offer the resiliency and redundancy, what Palo Alto does is we have a backup node as well for SPN and CAN. For example, if this node goes down, we have a backup node as available. It is an active passive setup. Same for the corporate access node as well. Yes, please go ahead. You have one question, Abdul.
Yes, good morning. When the mobile user started traffic, let's go through the processing stage. It goes through ingress stage and then do like a flow lookup, and then it will go to look for the IP TCP handshake, and then once it knows the service connectivity location, then the communication will go directly to that, or why is it going back to um, through the CAN 2, and then or the traffic will always go through CAN and then CAN 2 and then to the mobile gateway and then go back to the user? How that work?
Yeah, so we'll discuss two scenarios here. If the destination is internet, it is not the data center. Okay. So in that scenario, the traffic will come to the gateway. Okay. The gateway doesn't have the information of that particular route. It is over the internet. So straight away, it will look for the internet route. The traffic will not come to the CAN node. It will straight away go to the internet. But if the destination is in the data center, so mobile user gateway has that route information. So it will throw the traffic to the nearest CAN node. And then from the CAN node, it will look for that particular destination and it will forward it to that. If the destination in DC1, it will come here. If it is in DC, this one, then it will come to this CAN node. And from here, then it will come to here.
Yeah,
Any
but
doubt?
when you have IBGP set up along this core gateway, CAN 2, and then the security processing and the Prisma Cloud, they seem like they share BGP route. So normally the gateway should have whatever the CAN has, right? Oh no.
That's right. That's right. That's right. It has the connectivity. It has the IBGP connectivity with this particular node. So the routes are shared.
So which means that the communication can go straight from the gateway going to the service connectivity SC connections to where it is with the route lookup. I mean, I'm
That's
guessing.
that's right. That's right.
Okay.
Any other question? Okay, let's discuss the license as well. So the license of remote network is on the basis of bandwidth. If you have the requirement of 1 gig as per your different branch office location, then you will go for 1 gig, 2 gig, 3 gig, and you can distribute the bandwidth on the basis of the requirement for different locations. Okay. Service connection is not licensed on the basis of bandwidth. Yes, please go ahead. You have a question?
Yes, I'm sorry.
No
For
problem.
this setup here, we have Prisma access. Let's say because all this is outside of the premises, it's in
Hmm.
the cloud, and
That's right.
then you have Prisma access. So, but the security processing is it within the same platform? It's a separate appliance, or it's when you build yeah,
It's
how
the same
that
appliance. It's the same appliance.
it's the
So
same
security
appliance.
processing happens on this MU gateway. It is at the end a virtual Palo Alto instance firewall.
Okay.
Okay. Like we
Okay.
have Palo Alto firewall or any other firewall, it is a virtual instance,
Okay.
which is
Okay.
hosted on either AWS or GCP. The customer doesn't
Okay.
have that information where it is, but it is on a cloud. Okay. Okay. License of remote network, as I said, is on the basis of bandwidth. As per your requirement, you can purchase it. For example, you have 5 branch offices and you have like a 2 gig requirement if we take all the 5 branch into the consideration, and then you can distribute the bandwidth. Out of 2 gig, you can allocate 500 MB to one location, 1 gig to one location, 100 MB to one. So like that, you can distribute. Minimum allocation is 50 MB. We cannot allocate less than that to any of the remote network location. Okay. Minimum is 50 MB. Service connection is not licensed on the basis of bandwidth. So basically, the throughput for the service connection tunnel is not metered. It is unmetered connection. So we have local license for Prisma Access, which offers 2 service connection. We can configure 2 service connection. But in a scenario, we have more data center, more than 2. We can go for worldwide license as well, which offers, if I'm not wrong, 5 service connection. If we have more than that, we can go for the custom license as well. As per our requirement, we can go for the license. Mobile user license is on the basis of users, unique users, which connects to the Prisma. So if we have purchased a license for 1,000 users, so 1,000 unique users can connect to the Prisma Access using Global Protect agent. This is how the license is for Prisma Access. The other major component, which is not here in this particular diagram, is Cortex Data Lake, which is the log repository of Prisma Access. As per our requirement, we can purchase it. Have, if we think that 1 TB is sufficient for the log storage, then we can go for 1 TB. And there is a duration for which the logs are stored. It is not like the logs will be there forever on the Prisma. I guess the lifetime is 6 months. After 6 months, the logs are removed. So logs are there on the Cortex data lake for 6 months. And as per the license, we can customize it. If we have the requirement to go for 2 TB, 3 TB, we can go for it. Everything comes with the cost. Any questions? All right, so that was it for today's session. And in this particular training, I'll be providing you the labs as well. So I'll be providing you the labs for remote networks, for service connection, for mobile users, and the Prisma Access portal. So we'll do all the configuration which we have discussed today.